Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mario Picciardo, and in this video, let's talk about the male or the masculine drive, the male or the masculine essence. Now, I think the idea of what it means to be a man has been very kind of torn apart because in our day and age, being a man isn't seen as something that is as noble as, say, being a woman. In fact, the mere idea of being a man, um, even that phrase is looked down upon and shamed, and I think that that's very sad because I think we absolutely live in a time and an era where men are needed now more than ever. Um, there are some real biological differences between men and women, um, and these aren't things that we can just ignore. I mean, they're not, So if we get into what it means to be a man, um, if we try to go back to that idea of what it means to be a man is someone who is not just physically strong for his family, but he's someone who leads for and on behalf of his family and his community. A man is someone who stands up and he says something when things are out of whack. He doesn't let people just kind of, take advantage of other people. He kind of stands there and he stays as an arbiter of truth, as an arbiter of, on behalf of God. A man is someone who stands up and he says, no, this is not something that is okay. This is something that, needs to be fought, and I think it's sad because our culture today absolutely looks down on men, absolutely unequivocally. And to see a culture that says, well, what about women? And completely and ultimately forgets about men as if they do not matter by labeling the men as being the patriarchy, having all the power, is just a complete lie. A complete lie because it says about men that they have something that they do not really have. I mean, if you look at who, you look at the people who say these kinds of things, but who is this? Like, what is this patriarchy? They say it as if there's some kind of male uh, conglomerate whose sole purpose in life is, or whose one of his major stiples is making sure that no woman ever gets. I mean, this is just completely ridiculous. And anybody who rubs two brain cells together can find out very quickly that this idea does not actually equate to much. I mean, where is this imaginary creature? So I think it's scary because I think that, there are groups out there that try to paint something into existence simply for the sake of pushing their own agendas. And listen, women, at least so it's claimed, do not receive as much attention as they may want to. I mean, I think we have to look at the world and say, well, hey, maybe the world's a little bit more complex than we think it is. Maybe the reason that women don't occupy 50% of every single job sector is because women are biologically predisposed to be more interested in, say, people than things like men are. There are clearly reasons. Now, I'm not saying that that's the penultimate reason, but there are clearly reasons why men and women prefer to do different things. I mean, there's very clearly chromosomal differences between men and women. It's unequivocally, the case, and it's a little weird to have to sit here and talk about something that you learn in Bio 101, but something that you learn in a very early age. But it's true. I mean, there are real differences between men and women. Men and women very clearly have different strengths. And you know what? That's okay because the female strengths are. It's not to downplay the importance of the female at all, And then there's this idea that everything or everyone has to be equal, but I think. I think that that's scary because I think that when you look at society, look, we're not a utopia. I mean, we're not. And when you look at society, I mean, I think you really need to ask yourself, you know, what society would exist today if everything were equal? because, you have to look at how everything was built. Things were built on a basis of a hierarchy, not equality. In fact, everywhere you try to go to find equality, you find Marxism, which leaves in its wake death and destruction. Why? Because it does not work. It's a framework that doesn't quite work. I don't want to get too much into Marxism and things like that, but at least not right now. But when we talk about the male and the female, but what it means to be a man means to be strong. It means to be courageous in times of harshness, in times of persecution. It means to stand up for something in times of when things get really tough. And it means to stand with your beliefs, with your ideals, with your ideology, and to not allow evil to prevail in your life for some arbitrary meaning. I think, in fact, I was listening to Jordan Peterson, and he was saying how, the men have a responsibility, and that responsibility goes out to the depths of what it means to be a man, because that responsibility ultimately turns into needing to take care of something as simple as cleaning up your bed, something as simple as disciplining yourself, having the responsibility to do that. Why? So that you can give back to your community. In other words, finding responsibility in life is one of the ultimate pursuits of men, described by and in the Bible itself. It's a very Christian idea that you need to sacrifice personally for the better, for the ultimate good, for the highest good. And I think that it's the necessity of every man to really kind of think and to ask themselves, am I meeting my greatest good? Am I reaching my greatest good? Could I be better, and how? And to work towards that, the masculine essence is an essence of not just growth, contribution, and giving back and that sort of thing, but it's moving towards a sense of purpose or a higher calling, and feeling adequate towards life with a certain level of esteem, that doesn't necessarily need to be built any which way, but is built. So, as we sit here and as we talk today, I guess I kind of just want to share that message with you guys, and, really kind of talk about that kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, what does it mean to be a man? It means to be strong in yourself. It means to be strong in your character. It means to be willing to go out there and have the hard fight, and to be the person that, the world needs you to be, to put yourself out there, to be strong, and ultimately that's hard. And it means taking responsibility, and it means being willing to be responsible, no matter what your age is or whatever area or point in life that you're in. And that responsibility also lends to it the greatest amount of meaning that a man could have. Because what is life when you take away a sense of meaning or a sense of purpose? I mean, really, what do you have? You have nihilism, or you have hedonistic pleasures? I mean, what else is there in life besides, living a life of responsibility to your society, to everyone? I mean, I sat here and I said to myself, I was like, I was with a friend, and we were going into New York City to spend time together. And I, as we were, kind of on the train, I was saying to myself, I was like, wow, it's like, 'cause I was watching, when you just by the window seat as the buildings go by. And I said to myself, wow, I was watching the cars and the buildings and all, and and I said to myself, I was like, wow, I was like, even if I had $1 billion, this is like, no amount of cars, money, women, nothing would really kind of fill my sense of purpose or desire in my life. And I said, thank God that, I have Jesus, that I have someone that I can give my life to or who can give purpose to my life, because you can only get so much pleasure from a car, so much pleasure from the parties and things like that. I mean, there's at some point a man, I think, needs a sense of being, a sense of purpose, a sense of reality. But anyway, guys, I just want to make a video to talk about that. Now, this video was originally supposed to be about relationships and the whole gambit, but I think that that getting us sidetracked because of well, it's not that it got sidetracked. It got it became too much to handle at once, so I decided to break it down into small chunks. And even then, you know, we kind of get off into other topics, but sometimes you have things that you just gotta say, you know, and get off your chest and share. So with that, guys, I hope you guys found this video informative. If you liked it, please feel free to hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll be sure to read them. So have a good one, everybody. Peace.